Welcome to Business Rockstars. I'm Alex Worley, joined by Jason Knight. He is the co-founder and COO of LotLinx. Thanks for being here.
Pleasure.
What is your definition of being an entrepreneur? What does it take?
I think being an entrepreneur is about doing what other people aren't willing to do or are unable to do or haven't seen the vision to do, and then frankly being too stubborn to quit.
Yeah. Were you ever afraid to fail when you first started your business?
I'm always afraid to fail. I mean, I think that's what, to a certain extent, pays off, at least what drives me. Because, we talked about driven. I don't like failure. So you will fail. It's one of the best learning experiences you can have, but minimizing it is so critical.
When you make a tough decision, do you go off of your gut or research?
Time willing, data. Mm-hmm. Without it, you have to go through gut.
Okay. And would you rather hire someone with an MBA or with great intuition?
I would rather go for experience and potential over an education. So the latter.
Take me back to the beginning. Where did the idea come from for LotLinx?
The internet has changed so many things in so many industries. We saw how people had changed their shopping behavior, but really the category and the segment hadn't caught up. And so there were these paywalls and lead forms, and you couldn't get the information on a real-time basis or even in a transparent basis as it stood today. And we saw a huge opportunity to really collapse and remove barriers for the shopper and the seller, the dealer, and really put those two together.
Mm-hmm. How did you come up with the capital to start the business?
There are two other real co-founders, and we frankly bootstrapped it, which was a blessing and a curse. But it was always really self-funding, and we would raise capital as we need it, deploy it, raise more capital, et cetera. Any
advice when it comes to raising capital?
I mean, I think that for business, and certainly for this, it was all about spend less, sell more. So I think for us, it was good to have some scarcity because it made us make decisions and make choices. And so often, I think if you're flush in the beginning, you can spend it wildly and not really get the bang for the buck.
Sure. So you said that you have co-founders. Tell me a little bit about your co-founders and just kind of the key players in your business.
I mean, it's easy. We have our Chief Technology Officer is Rob Vusick. And then, our chairman and CEO now is Len Short. And so initially it was just the three of us trying to, make a business of it.
What would you say has been the biggest challenge so far?
Automotive is an incredibly stable business and segment. And so going in and making disruptive change is really challenging. And so being able to appropriately communicate what we do and how we do it and getting folks to take the time to understand it, I think has been a challenge. Because being on the right side of history isn't always a recipe for success. It's really about getting people to notice that and understand it.
So can you expand upon how you have gotten people on board?
Yeah, I mean, thankfully, we have a spectacular product, so success and results tend to drive a lot of that. But when we started, we frankly were probably 6 months too early with where we thought the business was going and the categories going. And really, goes back to we were talking about being committed and stubborn. We knew it was right. And so as we've done, we've found people who are forward thinkers. We've found people who are early adopters. And we've really made them incredibly successful. And that has given us the tailwind and the data and the help and the awareness to really, continue to expand down the line.
What would you say has been the biggest success so far?
The industry now talks about VDP views, which is one of the things we focus on, which stands for Vehicle Detail Pages. That's the information page on the dealer's website for the individual vehicles. And that has been so central in everything that we've done and what we drive those shoppers to. And it's all correlated to success. And people have now come on board to say, and I say come on board, but have agreed with and built the business around, these are incredibly important. And this is the money page for, moving that metal.
What would you say are the 3 biggest lessons that you've learned throughout this journey?
I think be willing to fail quickly, I think is the first and foremost. The second is listening to your customer and hearing what they're saying and what they're not saying is important. is critical. And the third is just how do you reduce friction from the experience, either with the dealer or with the shopper or both, even better.
Awesome. And lastly, if you weren't in your current role, what position or title would you like to have?
I would probably do something around medical research. So, Cancer Society or heart health or something else, just to, I don't know if it's give back, but just something that I care about and that, helps others.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for stopping by and sharing your journey with us. Really
Pleasure.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm Alex Worley, and this is Business Rockstars.